Hi, this is Janice from Space to Relax, and the video you're about to watch is a replay of a live class I taught on Zoom. These classes are free of charge for everyone to join, so please invite your family and friends. They're suitable for beginners and those of you with more Qigong experience. If you're watching this video on YouTube, then please don't forget to hit the red subscribe button so that you don't miss any future videos from me. I hope you enjoy the class. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Qigong class. And the class today, we're going to perform from a sitting position because it is all about how to use Qigong to relieve tightness in your hips, your lower and your upper back. And we're going to do a little bit of stretching into the sides of the body as well today. So if you want to, you can sit on the floor cross-legged as I am, or you can sit on a chair for this practice. And the reason I'm teaching the class today is because very many people have problems with tightness in their hips. They feel that the hips are not loose and flexible. There may be pain even, and definitely a little bit of stiffness there sometimes. So it's really helpful for us to be able to keep our hips loose and flexible, because if we don't, we can end up with problems like physical pain, which keeps us awake at night and stops us from doing all the things that we want to do during the day. Even things as simple as walking and standing can be really tricky if you've got problems with the flexibility around your hips and your lower back area. So the solution to this issue can be used, we can use Qigong for it. We can also use massage, and we can use stretching as well. And the Qigong is kind of a combination, as I'm going to show you today, of the massage and the stretching. But very much today, the focus is on using your breath to lead the movement, and then also the focus of your mind, which is going to, as much as possible, stay in the hip area, even though we're going to be doing things with our arms and stretching into the sides as well. So hopefully you'll find it quite interesting today. So just to begin with, what I'd like you to do is get yourself into a comfortable sitting position. So that could be on a chair or a stool where you feel like your back is supported. So you're not on a sofa or an armchair where you're leaning back and slouching into it. You need to be sitting up straight for this practice. If you're sitting on the floor, you can sit on a yoga bolster or a cushion. So I've got a bolster here. You can see just sitting on this. And I've got my legs crossed, one in front of the other. And remember, if you are sitting cross-legged, remember which leg is at the front. So I've got my right leg forward because we're going to swap around later on. So crossing the legs either at the ankles or at the shins. And however you're sitting, on a chair or on the floor, what I'd like you to do is just lean to one side and just pull the flesh of the buttocks and the upper part of the thigh outwards and away, and then allow the sit bone to come back down in contact with the cushion or the chair, and then go to the other side and pull the flesh away. So you're really feeling good contact with the base, the sit bones at the bottom of the kind of pelvis, really kind of snuggle in there to your cushion or your chair, and then even just kind of wriggle around from side to side, maybe with your eyes closed, and check that the weight is distributed evenly between the two sit bones, so you don't feel like you're leaning too far to one side or the other. So this is our anchor, this is our base. We're working with the hips, okay? So get yourself nice and comfy, and then relaxing with placing your hands either face down or face up on your thighs or your knees. And then sitting up tall, so straightening in the back, drawing the chin back towards the throat, feeling length in the back of the neck as though your head has been pulled up by a string. So nice and tall, lovely elevation in the upper part of the body. So you're grounding down into the hips and you're elevating up through the top of the head. Nice and tall, length in the spine. And just closing the eyes for a moment. Close the mouth. Rest the tongue on the roof of the mouth, with the tip of the tongue resting against the back of the upper teeth. Breathing in and out through the nose, unless your nose is blocked for any reason, in which case you may need to use your mouth. and bringing a smile to the corners of your mouth, relaxing the muscles in the face as you smile. And beginning our practice today with some abdominal breathing. So as you breathe in, feeling the belly expand as though a balloon is in your belly, expanding in all directions. And as you breathe out, feeling that balloon shrinking. No forcing with this, just observing the gentle flow of the breath in and out of the belly. And if you want to feel even more relaxation, it sometimes helps to do a longer exhale than an inhale. So if you want to do this with any counting, you can count in, breathing in to the count of 4, and then breathing out to the count of 5 or 6, just making the exhalation a little longer, really letting go of any tension you feel in the body as you exhale. And now gently opening the eyes so you can see me. So bring the hands now either just down by your sides if you're on a chair. If you're sitting down, see if you can touch the floor just with 1 or 2 of the fingertips, just grounding or stretching, reaching down with the fingers to make contact with the ground. And at the same time as you do that, elevating and feeling that lovely length in the back of the neck, feeling the top of the head, reaching up towards the ceiling, just to make sure you're in this lovely, stable position. Now, the first movement we're going to do today, and we're going to do a little bit of, there's going to be quite a bit of sideways movement and a bit of twisting as well, which is why this is great for the back. But we're going to do a movement where you are stretching over to the side. So if you're sitting on a chair, what you can do is just hold the edge of the chair or the stool with the hand that you're leaning towards. And if you're here on the floor, as I am, you can just place the hand flat on the floor as you go to one side. So just to begin with, all I want you to do is just very gently lean to one side, but what we're doing is we're focusing with the mind. So I'll show you the movement first. So the movement is just a simple tip to the side, little bend in the elbow, and just allow your body to come over to one side. Now, from here, you're going to feel a stretch in this lateral side of the back, but your mind focus is actually, you're focusing your mind and you're exhaling and thinking of exhaling. When you go to the side, the exhalation is going to flow down from your armpit all the way down that side of the body and into that hip on the opposite side. And you actually physically are wanting to get that hip in contact with the surface that you're sitting on. So don't be tempted to come over and let the hip come up and roll over too far. That's not going to give you that lovely extension and that flexibility in your hip and in your hips and your back that you need. So you're just going to go to one side and then to the other side. Okay, so this is the movement. I'll just show you very simply. So the movement will be this. So just bending in the elbow, very easy. Okay, but it's the focus of the mind that's important. So we'll do it together. So from this position now, take a breath in and then breathing out, exhaling to one side and breathing out down through that armpit all the way down into that hip. Inhale back to the center, get tall, exhale to the other side. Breathing out all the way down into the opposite hip. Now, the breath leads the movement. So begin the inhale now before you move back to the center. Inhale, and then allow the movement to follow that. Exhale, allow the movement to follow you down to the side. Mind into the hip. Inhale, coming up. Breath leading the movement. Exhale, down to the side. Inhale to the center and just relax for a moment. Now, if you're happy doing that, just continue along with that. So I'm going to move it up a little level now. So we're going to move the arms into this. So if you have any issues with arms, neck, shoulders, and you can't do this movement for whatever reason, stick with what I just showed you there. Otherwise, what we're doing now is we're going to inhale, arm comes up alongside your ear. Exhale, down to the side. So now really stretching and reaching across, getting even more extension with the exhale all the way down into that opposite hip. Breath leads the movement. Inhale, now grow tall, reach up with that arm. Bring the other arm up to it. And now exhale, reaching across. Inhaling, both arms coming up, get tall. Exhale. One arm comes across, mind into the opposite hip. And just keep going like this, inhaling for a few more. Nice and tall. Exhaling, really feeling that lovely stretch and flow of chi all the way down the lateral side of the back, right down into the sit bone on the opposite side. Inhaling, tall, and then exhaling. Inhale, breath leading the movement, exhaling and then moving. Keeping the mind in the hips. Inhale, so it's tempting to focus on the arms because they're doing a lot of movement. But the actual grounding and the mind needs to be in the hips to really feel the flow of chi, which the arms are creating, but then moving it down into the hips with this movement, with the breath, and with your mind. So they're the three elements of Qigong. Two more. Inhale, get lovely and tall. Exhaling. Inhaling. One more. Exhale, mind into the opposite hip. Inhale, nice and tall. And then drop the shoulders first to allow the arms to come down. Drop the elbows. And bring the hands back down onto your knees. And now look down at your legs. If you're cross-legged, check which one is at the front. And remember, because we're going to change it around now. So bring your legs out in front of you. If you're sitting, just extend your legs maybe a little bit. And what I want you to do now is just give your legs a little bit of a rub, just to rub out any of the stiffness just from sitting there. So up the insides and the outsides of the legs. Maybe give them a little bit of a tap. Okay, and a little shake out. Now, crossing the legs with the opposite leg at the front this time. Okay, so just sitting for 3 breaths, breathing in and out of the nose. Nice and tall, adjust your posture, even just shuffle side to side, just to check that you've still got that lovely even distribution of the weight between your sit bones. And now opening the eyes. Now this time, again, you don't have to bring the arms into it if you don't want to. You can just literally sit with your hands on your knees like this or with them down by your sides as you do this movement. So if you've any restriction, please don't be in pain. But ideally, if you can, clasp your hands behind your head. And what I'd like you to do, just as you're in this position now, is just check that the chin is tucked back towards the throat. And almost with your hands, just elevate, just move your hands up the back of the head, as though you're kind of stretching the neck up towards the ceiling, and feel that lovely length. You don't have to work to bring the elbows right back, so you don't need a huge stretch across the front of the chest. Just allow the elbows to be naturally where they are comfortably resting. So from here now, again, we're going to do a little movement to the side. So breathing in, same principle now. Breathing out, just tilting to the side, feeling that extension on the lateral side of the body. Now hold it here and make an inhalation now. Inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to come all the way over to the other side. So exhale all the way around. Grounding into the opposite hip with your mind. Inhale. Exhale all the way across, getting tall in the middle. Inhale. And exhale all the way across. So this doesn't need to be a huge movement. Inhale. Exhale, just enough for you to feel that stretch down the sides of the body and feel that grounding into the opposite hip. Inhale. Exhale. And just in your own time now, maybe even close your eyes and see how it feels. Mind stays in the hips. So for this movement, the exhale is whenever you're moving from one side to the other. Two more. Come back to the center and maybe just give your shoulders and your arms a little shake out now. You might find that that's even quite tough. You know, you might feel it here on the shoulders and the arms if you're not used to having your arms in that elevated, any kind of elevated position. So it's always good just to have a little release in between. Okay, now coming back to that position again. Now we're moving a little bit more into the upper back now, from the hips and the lower back area. And this is a lovely little gentle twist. So inhaling, get tall, and exhale. And from the hips now, feel the hips turning, feel the waist turning, feel the mid back and the upper back following along. So the movement is coming from the hips as you exhale. And then inhale back to the center, movement coming from the hips. So your mind is in your hips. Exhaling round to the other side. And again, this doesn't have to be a huge movement. As much as you can, try to keep the chin parallel with the floor. Inhale to the center. Ideally, what we're looking for here is a lovely, smooth flowing turn from one side to the other. Inhale to the center. Mind goes into the opposite hip as you exhale. Closing the eyes, really feeling into the hips. Movement is coming from the hips. One more to each side. Come back to the center, get tall, relax the shoulders, the elbows, and the hands. Give them a little shake out. Okay. Now you may want to just allow the legs just to come back to the front again. If you feel there's any little bit of stiffness, a little bit more rubbing, a little bit more tapping down the outsides and up the insides. Really helping to keep the circulation going through the legs. Okay, and then coming back, changing sides again with whichever leg was at the front, right at the beginning. Okay, and again, just hands on the legs, either palms up or palms down. 3 abdominal breaths. Wiggling from side to side, just having a little shuffle, nestling into your cushion or your bolster or your chair, and making sure that you've got that nice, even distribution of weight. Tucking the chin in, feeling the length in the back of the neck, staying nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. And gently opening the eyes. So those first movements there were focusing mainly on the sideways direction, the side to side movement of the hips. So for those of you who've done Qigong with me before, you'll know that the movement of Qi is side to side. It's in and out, it's up and down, it's forwards and backwards. So this next movement now is going to be more focused on the forwards and backwards movement of the hips and the pelvis. So the side to side is gone now, so we've done that. So this is more kind of sliding and gliding over the pelvis. And the way in which we do this, 2 ways actually. I will start with the simpler way for anyone who's got any problems with shoulders, just by placing your hands on your knees. And what I'd like you to do now is just to arch your back as you breathe in. So take a breath in, arch your back, and just maybe let your head drop back a tiny bit. Not for anyone with neck issues, just looking up towards the ceiling, arching in the lower spine. And then as you breathe out, I'd like you to round in the lower spine and then round in the shoulders, tuck the chin down towards the chest. So for those of you practicing any yoga, this is like a sitting cat-cow movement. Breathing in, arching and feeling that slide forwards of the pelvis. And then exhaling, rounding in the lower back, in the upper back, tucking the chin towards the chest. One more time, inhaling, arching, sliding and gliding. So even though the movement here is very much in the upper body, it's coming from the hips. So keeping the mind in the hips as you do this. And now coming back to sitting. So if you want to stay with that movement as we move on to the next one, you can. So for those of you though who would like to bring the arms into this, we're going to move now by inhaling, and from this position, inhaling and arching the back. And at the same time, it's as though you're presenting something lovely to everybody else. And as you do, smiling and spreading the arms out to the side. And then turn the hands over all the way, palms facing down and then palms facing back. And then as you exhale and rounding in the lower back, spine, tucking the chin in, backs of the hands come together. And then fingertips down towards the floor, bringing them towards your chest and presenting as you arch the back. This is a lovely exercise. You get some lovely openness in the chest and the upper back from this as well. Turning the hands down and behind and exhale. And now, as you do this, thinking of the sliding and the gliding of the hips and the pelvis. Keeping the mind in the hips, the lower back, feeling that lovely smooth movement. One more. Smiling. And then just bringing the hands back down to rest on the knees. Now feet back in front of you again, a little bit more massage, just to avoid any pins and needles. Bit of tapping. And then change the cross of the legs. And now hands either facing up or down, resting on the thighs or the knees. Adjust your position. Weight spread evenly between the two sit bones. Chin tucked in, shoulders relaxed, and lovely length in the back of the neck. Coming back to your abdominal breathing. Breathing in and out through the nose. Bringing a smile to the corners of your mouth. Inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 5 or 6. And observing any sensations that you feel in your hips, your lower back, the sides of your body, and most likely also anything in the shoulders and the upper back, because we've been moving the arms quite a bit as well. I've got some lovely warmth going on there in the shoulder joints. And still with the eyes closed now, bring one hand to rest flat on the lower belly, below your belly button, with the other hand directly on top of that. Bringing your mind to your lower abdomen, and then just giving it a rub to seal in all that lovely energy and chi you've been working with by circling in one direction, and then changing the direction. Keeping the eyes closed, bring the hands together in front of you and rub them until they get really, really hot. Feel lovely heat in the palms. And then place one palm over each eye, fingers facing up towards the ceiling, feeling that heat from the palms, moving through the eyes, through the back of the eyes, to nourish the mind. And as that heat dissipates, begin to give yourself a little face massage, a little face wash, and slowly, gently opening the eyes to bring yourself back into the room. So I hope you enjoyed that class today, everyone. That's really just a little bit working around the hip joints. It seems a bit counterintuitive to be doing it from a sitting position, but it really does help to stabilize the whole of this pelvic area. It's also very safe for the lower back, in contrast to maybe some other hip exercises, which might be a little bit tricky if you have any issues with your lower back. So this is a nice, safe one to perform. And as you can see there, you can do it at a number of different levels, depending on what range of movement is available to you. But as always with any Qigong exercise, don't ever go into any pain. Don't try to stretch too far. You just need to go far enough to feel a little bit of something going on, a little bit of effort. But remember always that the breath leads the movement and the focus of the mind is into the opposite hip when you're doing those twists and the side bends. So I really do hope you enjoyed it. I just want to say to all of you, thanks so much to everyone who donated for my climb with Charlie last month. We raised €1,500, which I put into my swim coach's fundraising page, and he is now on over €7,000. And as a country in Ireland, because this was a countrywide effort, we've raised so far over €2 million for Motor Neuron Disease Ireland and Pieta House, which is a charity which helps support people who've been affected by suicide. So thank you so much to everyone who donated. For anybody else who would like to donate as an appreciation for this class and towards my climb and my swim in a very cold lake, then I'll put the link, when I send out the replay, I'll put the link to that in the email that you'll receive from me in tomorrow. I think it's going out. So thank you so much. If you want to contact me, my email is janice@spacetorelax.com, or you can join our Facebook group, which is Space to Relax Free Qigong Group. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, then please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this Qigong lesson, then there are 4 things you can do right now. The first thing is to head over to my website, which is spacetorelax.com, and there you'll see that you can join up for a free 3-part video series. The second thing you can do is click the link next to this video to sign up for the live Qigong classes. The third thing you can do is go over to Facebook if you're on Facebook and look for Space to Relax Free Qigong Group. That's my free group where you can post any questions, and please do join the group. And the fourth thing is, if you're watching this video on YouTube, then please hit the red subscribe button so that you don't miss any future videos from me. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson and look forward to seeing you in the next video.